Time now for a look at the day's top business news, starting with the retail holiday known as Black Friday. How could you have missed it? Now, what began in the US to mark the start of the holiday shopping season has now spread around the Western world. But is it worth it? Well, Brian Quinn is here from our business desk to tell us more. Brian.
Well, Naomi, in the U.S., the home of Black Friday, shoppers stayed up late and waited in line to try to nab the best deals as stores opened at midnight. The phenomenon gets its name from the black ink that shops would finally be able to use in their ledgers as holiday shopping took them out of the red and into the black. Well, now retailers, both online and off, promise huge savings as they try to lure shoppers to spend big. But many consumer advocacy groups say the deals are rarely the best of the year. James Vizina takes a closer look.
A once-in-a-lifetime deal or a well-crafted scam? Black Friday has been crossing borders in the last years, and 2019 is set to be another global spending spree. Over in the United States, where many start their Christmas shopping, Americans are expected to drop a whopping $7 billion on the day. Money quickly spent, but last year over half of customers ended up regretting their purchase. Consumer organisations are denouncing the pressure advertising's putting on customers, with sales no different than in the rest of the year. In France, where clothing, high-tech and beauty products fly off the shelves, one group found that an average of only 7.5% of items were on sale. The biggest retail day for Amazon, as the online company employs 10,000 extra workers for the end-of-year sales. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, many studied products were shown to be cheaper before and after Black Friday. The groups are advising shoppers to do their research before they buy, but Black Friday doesn't end there. The spending continues with Cyber Monday.
Black Friday arrived here in France less than a decade ago. It got off to a rather slow start, but it has been gathering steam. This year, sales are expected to hit nearly 6 billion euros, a more than 4% increase over 2018. But a backlash is brewing now. French MPs this week proposed legislation to ban Black Friday. The country has strict laws around discounts, with one official sales period in the winter and one in summer. Businesses that break those laws face up to 300,000 euros in fines. Over 200 French brands are already rejecting Black Friday sales. That's a welcome move for environmental campaigners.
When I see Black Friday, it's unbearable. When I see lower prices, I think about the people who are making these products and who are very poorly paid. I think about the environment that's under threat. Thousands of liters of water for a T-shirt with chemicals and so on.
Well, time now for a check-in on the markets. Asian indexes lost considerable ground in Friday trade as Donald Trump's signing of two laws supporting Hong Kong's pro-democracy protesters deepens trade tensions between Washington and Beijing. Nikkei in Tokyo ending the day down around 0.5%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng unsurprisingly hit particularly hard. It is down over 2%. Shanghai is off around 0.6%, while the Kospi in Seoul is down nearly 1.5% at the close there. European indexes following that same trend at the open here. London and Frankfurt each off around 0.5% as new data shows consumer confidence in the UK is at a 6-year low. The CAC 40 here in Paris down around 0.33% at the open. Well, next, as protesters hit the streets worldwide Friday over the deepening climate crisis, here in Paris, government officials, economists, and financial industry representatives are meeting for the 5th annual Climate Finance Day. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire says Paris wants the EU to institute mandatory environmental reporting standards for European businesses. He also says French financial institutions will end all investments in coal within 10 years. On Thursday, Oxfam took aim at French banks in particular, saying their global investments enabled over 4 times France's national emissions in 2018.
French banks are investing, but for every €7 invested in fossil fuel, only €2 go to renewable energies. And this has decreased over the last 2 years. So the challenge is to reverse this trend, for one, and then to definitively get out of fossil fuel. When it comes to climate change, declarations, grand statements, big emotional speeches are useless. There is only one thing which matters: action.
And finally, for business, the ongoing feud between Tokyo and Seoul has sent one sector in particular completely flat. Japanese beer exports to South Korea hit zero last month amid massive boycotts. What began with a South Korean court decision that Japan should compensate victims of forced labor during World War II has since escalated into a major trade conflict, with each country revoking the other's trusted trade partner status. South Korea normally represents roughly 60% of the export market for Japanese beer, with sales of nearly 7 million euros in October of last year alone. The two sides are working on a resolution to the conflict to end that spat, Naomi. We would imagine, hopefully, they could resolve it around perhaps a frosty Japanese beer.
It's a nice image, Brian. Let's keep dreaming. But
Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Brian. Time now.